and of course we're here to make sure we bring you the latest revolving around the world of sports. On today's edition of the show, we shall take a look at the fixtures in the top 5 leagues this weekend in Europe, as well as all the stories revolving around the world of sport. Promises to be an exciting edition. We'll take a short break now, and we'll come back from the break. Of course, we'll take a look at all that is revolving the world of sports at the moment. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on Atn.
Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. This is the weekend edition for the show, and I tell you, of course, we're very much loaded, especially as it concerns the fixtures this weekend in the top 5 leagues. I'm not here alone in the studio. I have one man, of course, you know so well, Emmanuel Michael. Good evening to you, and welcome to the weekend edition of Sports Extraordinary.
Good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there.
It promises to be an exciting one, and we have to take a look at preparation for Team Nigeria ahead of the Paris Olympics that will be coming up very soon. And talking about the preparation for Team Nigeria, Senator John Eno, Minister of Sport Development, has announced plans to ensure the timely release of funds to prepare Nigerian athletes for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. The ministry is committed to supporting Nigerian athletes on the world stage by securing funding promptly and pursuing partnership with private individuals and the corporate sector to booster financial support. The ministry is also committed to safeguarding the well-being of Olympians. Now plans are on the way to provide insurance coverage for Team Nigerian athletes to mitigate risks associated with injuries and unforeseen circumstances. Michael, what do you make of it? Looking forward to see that there is proper funding for the athletes.
For me, I think it's a good one, Kingsley, because at this point we need all of these things to be properly looked into if we truly want to do well out there in the forthcoming Paris Olympic game. We need to start preparation in earnest. We need to also take proper care, of our athletes. Their welfare is paramount, because these athletes, they also have families, they have their own needs, they have things to attend to, they have things to do with money. And of course, not just money, but to also ensure their welfare, which include the insurance. Thank God that the sport minister have also talked about that, you know, talking about insurance for the athlete out there in case of any eventualities. You know, there's this hope that indeed they are going to be covered. They don't need to run helter-skelter to get, you know, treatment or any other form of welfare, and that is why it's very, very needful for that insurance aspect of it to come in. And for me, you know, a few days ago, the coach of the Super Falcons, talking about around the World Drum, also hinted to this fact that indeed we need to start early preparation. He talked about the fact that the girls, they need to start camping early, and the welfare of the players as well need to be properly taken care of to ensure, you know, that they perform very well out there in the Olympic. And of course, the sport minister have already listened to that, and that is why he's taking a pragmatic step toward ensuring that he addresses all of these, you know, things, so that we don't get to see any hitches out there at the Olympic Games. So, if you ask me, this is the way to go, because in the Senna climb, this is how things are being done, where the welfare of athletes out there is properly taken care of. Insurance also covers them in case of any eventualities. And of course, you know, the sport minister also went beyond that. He's also thinking or planning that indeed our athletes must be put on a payroll, and it makes it very, very, you know, interesting for me, because so long as you're an athlete, especially the grade A, which he talked about, the grade A athlete that we place under, you know, salary. I think after the African Games out there in Ghana, we still hear that some boxers out there, some other sportsmen and women who went there to do the country pride are yet to receive their emolument, which for me is quite disappointing. So for me, if you ask me, I think the sport minister has taken the bull by the horn. He's trying to reposition the Nigerian sport for good. And I tell you, all hands must be on deck if we must achieve this very great feat.
Okay, it's very disturbing. You're talking about
be able to lead the people, in quote, that you want to. But then the issue of continuity is something that we can't actually take for granted. And what is the insurance, or the assurance rather, that there is going to be continuity after Senator John Owaneno have left office? That is another big question. So for me, I think the way to go is that a law should be promulgated to make it as a mandatory that whosoever comes on board, you must also follow this trend, because it's a good one. So, and that is the only way we can be rest assured, have, you know, done his part and left, you know, that the subsequent person that will be coming is going to continue in
ahead of the Paris Olympics. But on the side of the athlete, how prepared are they as well in terms of performance?
For me, how prepared are they? It boils down to the Nigerian Sporting Federation, because you can't actually be expecting some of these athletes to be spending their hard-earned money, you know, individually, to be preparing for a championship that they will be representing the nation. In as much as they are doing their own part by making sure that do their, you know, proper training, follow the trend, their training regiment behind the scene, you know, of course it's good, but do you expect an athlete to cover, you know, heavy amount of dollar? Possibly if you're an athlete based here in the country, will you want to dip hand into your own personal pocket to cover dollars to purchase a flight ticket and accommodation and all the logistics to go over to other climb, maybe in European, maybe in USA or other climb, to go and start preparing? Will you put hand into your own personal pockets to go out and start preparing for a tournament that will be hoping to represent the country, not just for yourself? So for me, in as much as the athletes, you know, they are prepared, and what are the way that they are being prepared? Some of them are taking part in one tournament, one competition or the other. Athletes such as Toby Amoshun, Favor Ophelia, and the rest, we understand some of them are very, very active, you know, courtesy of the fact they are taking part in one tournament or the other. But what about those athletes that is based here in the country? It behoves on the Athletic Federation to organize a mini competition for them while waiting for the Olympic. Then if the Olympic is pretty near, they can also say, okay, early camping is one of the way to get them prepared. But if the timing for the Olympic is still very far, then they need to organize a mini competition to keep these athletes fit, to keep them in shape while waiting for the Olympics. So I think for me, the onus lies on the Athletic Federation in terms of preparation to ensure that our athlete is properly equipped, properly prepared, to go out there and do us proud.
Let's keep our fingers crossed and see how it goes. We'll hope that, of course, all of these plans will be properly implemented, ahead of for the Paris Olympic, because we don't want what happened last time, of course, to repeat itself. Michael, was really, an ugly outing last time in Tokyo. Some of our athletes, were, discovered. Some of our athletes had prohibited substances in them after they were tested. Some of them were even showcasing where they were washing and wearing their jersey. Really an ugly scene, of course, and some gadgets were even given to the athletes, and the sport ministry actually took it away from them. A lot happened. We hope that this time around, Senator John Wanino, of course, will be able to put things in place ahead of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. But let's stay away from the games now, as we'll take a look at some fixtures this weekend in the Nigeria Premier Football League. We know that there will be some changes in terms of the fixtures, but for what we have at the moment, of course, Doma United will lock arms against Remo Stars this weekend, and we'll see Enugu Rangers against Abia Warriors. Bender Insurance will lock arms against Kano Pillars. Gombe United against Kwara United. Rivers United will also be national against Plateau United. Eyimba against Heartland FC. Bayelsa United against Katsina United. Sporting Lagos will be national against Sunshine Stars, and Akwa United will be welcoming Niger Tornadoes at the Goslar Pabi International Stadium this weekend, and Shooting Stars will be national against Lobby Stars. Michael, what do you make of the action, especially Doma United against Remo Stars?
It's going to be a big clash because we are heading to the almost end of the season, and you expect some of these fixtures to be mouth-watering because some teams are battling to stay afloat of the NPFL table, while some teams are also contending for the title, while some are also hoping to finish, very, very strong. So it's a very, very tough fixture that we are going to see this weekend. But then for Doma United, I expect them to at least get all 3 points, because of the fact that they are playing at home. You know what the home fans bring into the game as well. So that is my thought. But in other games as well, we expect some other big fixtures. Title contenders, Enugu Rangers as well, will be in action, and I expect Enugu Rangers, though they were blighted last time out where they failed to take all 3 points, to also improve their point gap against other title contenders such as Enyimba, Plateau United and the rest. Akwa United as well, they will be hoping to also improve on the log, because they are seated in a very, very bad position within the relegation zone as well. So I think for me, it's a very good fixture that we are going to see this weekend.
Good fixtures this weekend in Nigerian Premier Football, but you talk about Enugu Rangers. They will looking up against Abia Warriors. It looks like, of course, actually an oriented derby. You see them, of course, capitalizing the fact that taking advantage of the fact that they're at home and getting the necessary 3 points.
Yeah, of course, these are teams that truly understand themselves very well. Just like you said, it's an oriental derby, and for Abia Warriors as well, they understand the pattern of play of Enugu Rangers. So also Enugu Rangers, because over the years they've actually met each other, and they understand themselves pretty well. But then, looking at the form of Enugu Rangers, I think Enugu Rangers is going to take all 3 points, but it's not going to be easy, because we've seen a whole lot of shocker this season. We've seen a team going away to pick all 3 points and nothing happens. They are not embarrassed, they are not harassed and all of that. So I think it's going to be a keenly contested encounter. But then I think Enugu Rangers, who is gunning for the title, I think they have advantage in this very one, and they want to bounce back from their last time, poor show where they actually drop points out there.
Enugu Rangers, of course, let's see how it goes. Can they get, the necessary 3 points down there at their home ground? Bender Insurance against Kano Pillars. Michael, this promises to be an exciting one. So, but in the last 3 or 2 games, Kano Pillars, they've really been struggling. Yeah,
they have been really struggling. They were walloped by, is it Enyimba? Yeah, 5 goals to nothing. Yep. And they lost at home as well. You know, in the last week, if I'm not mistaken, also in a very high goal margin out there. So I think it's another time for Kano Pillars to see if they can be able to pick up themselves from you know, where they actually stopped last time out, you know, because having played 2 games so far, the 2 results they've gotten from these 2 fixtures is not encouraging. And for a team such as Kano Pillars, you expect them to get all 3 points, especially playing at home in the last weekend, but then they lost all 3 points.
They lost to Imba 5-0.
Yeah.
And the last game they played, they also lost to Sporting Lagos.
Yeah.
By 1-0.
So that is what I'm saying. You expect them to get all 3 points at home, but then they faltered at home. So I believe they want to also, you know, pick up, you know, that fine form, you know, that we've seen them in the past, and that is going to make the game even more interesting.
Gombe United against Kwara United as well. Rivers United are back to the Nigerian Premier Football League, Michael, and they'll be facing Plateau United this weekend. Do you see things being easy for Rivers United? They have to, of course, win their outstanding games and, of course, see how to survive relegation.
For me, I think it's going to be a difficult one for Rivers United because mentally, I think they are destabilized right now. Why did I say they are destabilized mentally? You know, the shock they got from the defeat at the continental stage where they actually lost to USM Ojas, you know, in the Confederations Cup out there. So you expect them not to be mentally strong in this very one. And again, they have about 6 outstanding games. This is one of the games that they will be playing. You don't expect them to come back and get easy results out there. Even in the league, even before traveling away for their continental duty, they were not in good form as well. So this season, I think Rivers United, they've actually struggled a bit. This is not the Rivers United we saw last season. At this point last season, Rivers United is seated either 4th or 5th on the log, you know, at this time last season. But this season they've actually struggled. So for me, I think it's going to be a very difficult game for them, having come back after being defeated by, you know, the Algerian side out there. It's going to be a very difficult one. But then I still think that they still have something to fight for, because looking at where they are seated right now is not a comfortable place for them. And this is not a place where you expect a team such as Rivers United, you know, to be sitting. So I believe if the coach do his work right, you know, I think that they are going to get all 3 points, but then they need to work for it on the pitch.
Talking about the coach and doing the needful, and you talked about destabilization. We got to report that the coach of the side, Stanley Guma, has been given an indefinite suspension, you know, in the team after the performance in the CAF Confederation Cup. What could be the problem? Even before the CAF Confederation Cup games, Coach Stanley Guma was nowhere to be found at some points, and we hear he was on leave, coming back from leave after the performance at the CAF Confederation Cup. We are getting a report at this point that he's been given an indefinite suspension. What could be the issue with Stanley Guma and the Rivers United management?
You know, we had this insinuation last time out where we find it difficult to see him on the touchline. Questions began to pop up here and there. Why is it that Stanley Guma is not in the touchline? And at some point, I had to listen to their media handler in a certain sister station out there, you know, when he was talking about the fact that all is well and all of that. But they asked him, why was Stanley Guma not on the touchline for several weeks right now? He was being very, very economical with the truth out there. But at some point, they came up, they said that he went on medical leave and all of that. But then the activity while he was away from the touchline was shrouded in secrecy. We couldn't be able to lay hand on a concrete reason why Stanley Guma was not on the touchline, not until they came up after some time to tell us that you know, he went for a medical leave and all of that. But then after coming back from the Confederation Cup, you know, going back for indefinite suspension again, it now triggers that you know, curiosity why we sport journalists was asking the question before now, what happened to Stanley Guma that is not on the touchline? So for me, I think there is something that is very fishy. I'm sensing a monkey hand in the soup, and that is why I can't accurately say, yes, this is the reason, until they come up with an official statement before we can truly, hold on to any concrete evidence right now. Because as it stands, I think whatever is shrouded or be clouded around Stanley Eguma being suspended is not made open right now. So we can't just sit here and make a projection or begin to make an insinuation of the reason why. So I think for me it's best known for the club, but then they need to give us an official statement so that we understand that yes, this and this happened, because this is not the first time that he is exiting the Confederations Cup, and he has not, gotten such a suspension. Last season, I think this is the same stage where they were knocked out of the Confederations Cup, and he did not get any indefinite suspension. Why this time around? So something is definitely fishy. But let's just keep our fingers crossed and also keep our nose on ground to also dig out what seems to be the reason. But for now, we can't conclude that this is the reason until the clubs or Stanley Eguma himself comes out with an official statement.
Okay, as well, talking about the fixtures, I think we have another rented derby, Eyimba against Atn FC. What do you make of this one? Eyimba, I think they didn't get a better results.
Yeah.
Last time they played, I think they lost against, was it Shooting Stars? And this time against Atn FC. What do you make of this particular encounter?
I think it's going to be a difficult encounter. The reason is very simple. Outrightly, I would have given it to Eyimba, but looking at the poor form of Heartland so far this season under Christian Obi, I would have given Eyimba 3 points even before they kick the ball out there. But why it is difficult for me at this point to give them the 3 points is that Heartland won their last game. For the fact that they won their last game, it didn't just end there. They have gotten a cash reward just 4 days ago. They got the players got a cash reward.
From the governor?
Not from the governor, from ex-players of Heartland. They came together, talk to the boys, give them some pep talk, and also dole out financial, support for them in what they call a morale booster, to the players out there. And of course, this is going to ginger the players also to double their effort, because it's the fact that they won their last game and also receiving this cash reward. It also propelled them, also ginger them to also up their ante against Eyimba, and that is why I'm saying that it's going to be a very tricky one for Eyimba. If their coach talking about what's his name, Christian Obi, can live up to the billing by making sure that he did what he did in their last game that actually got him the result. Whatever he did, I don't know what he conjured, but you need to replicate that magic again to be able to at least get something positive in this very one. But for Eyimba, it's going to be a very difficult one for them, like I say. But then, I think Eyimba can still do it because they are gunning for the title. They know that if they get to lose this game, then their point disparity between them and Enugu Rangers is going to even be further gapped, and they wouldn't want that because they want to defend the title that they won last season.
Let's see how it goes, but I think it's going to be a very tight one because Eyimba wants to get themselves, back, in winning ways. Looking at the fact that it wasn't an easy outing for them in their last encounter. Bayelsa United will be national against Katsina United, and we'll see Sporting Lagos against Sunshine Stars. Quite United, of course, will be welcoming Niger Tornadoes at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. Michael, Coach Baba Ganaru, of course, has not gotten a very good start at Aqua United. Niger Tornadoes, they've been in a very good form.
Yeah.
You see them, picking an away point at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium this weekend.
Very, very possible. Niger Tornadoes, they have been in fine form of late, and for Aqua United, since Bama Ganaru came in his first game, he actually lost his first game. And I said here that I was going to cut him some slack owing to the fact that he was just coming into the team and possibly might have not been able to understand the strengths or know the philosophy of the team. He has not been able to get acquainted with the players to also understand how he can be able to deploy or utilize some of the players, and that is why I had to cut him some slack in his first game. So I believe by now, having spent 1 or 2 weeks with the players, training together, at least by now he must have been able to figure out the strength of each player out there and know how to deploy them. So that gives them that advantage. And of course, getting a new job you know, you want to start on a good footing. In his first game, he did not do well. He lost his first game. In his second game, you don't expect him to lose the second game. So for me, I think it's going to be a keenly contested encounter.
Michael, it's even more worrisome because Baba Ganaru, he was just brought in to help Akwa United survive relegation, and he's not starting on a very good note. That's the duration of his contract, just to help the team survive relegation, and then the management can see if they will renew his contract. But not starting on a very good note is really a problem to some of the fans of Akwa United.
Yeah, it's really something that calls for worry for some of the fans out there. But then,
and some of the fans are saying they shouldn't have brought in Baba Ganaru. They would have allowed the coach, of course, that was there to continue his job. Looking at the fact that before he left the role, the last 2-3 games Akwa United played before he left, he had an impressive performance, even got an away win against Plateau United. Yeah,
in their last 3 games before he was dropped, I do not think that Baba Ganaru is that bad. Is that bad? Let's just give him the chance. Of course, this is his first game. He lost his first game. In second game, let's see what he can be able to bring to the table. Like I said earlier, you know, there are certain things, there are certain factors that might have caused him to lose the first game out there, which I actually pointed earlier. He was not, you know, hasn't yet settled, and he hasn't yet familiarized with himself with the players out there to understand, you know, their strength as well. So this is his second game, and I believe he's going to improve on this second game.
But I think for me it was really a very bad decision for Akwa United to let the manager, the interim manager, of course, to vacate that position of the for being the coach, of course, of the team at the moment. But Shooting Stars, of course, comes against Lobby Stars this weekend. Those are the fixtures. There might be some changes as well this weekend, but as of now, this is what, of course, we can bring to you as the fixtures in the Nigerian Premier Football League this weekend. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back from this break, I'll take a look at all that happened in the Europa League yesterday, as well as some fixtures in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honourable
You human trafficker.
Honourable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
the line, across the ocean, to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Welcome back, Steve Sports Extra Ordinary on Atlantic Television. For Liverpool at Anfield, as Atalanta stormed Anfield as Gianluca scored twice in a 3-0 win yesterday to leave Liverpool with a mountain to climb to reach the Europa League semi-final. What do you make of the performance yesterday for the guys at Anfield?
Very shambolic. Very, very shambolic, Kingsley. I actually stayed glued on my TV set watching that very well. At some point, I was like, is this actually Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp that is playing? Because looking at their performance yesterday, it's not the Liverpool that we've seen so far this season that have been blistering from all angles. It's the Liverpool that is contending for the title. I think they were totally battered, shattered, and dismantled by Atlanta. So I think that Jurgen Klopp got his tactics wrong yesterday. He had to bench some key of his players out there, but when things started getting worse, he had to unleash them. But then I think it was too late. So I think it wasn't an impressive display from Liverpool point of view, because this is not what I expect. Because having known that the coach, talking about Jurgen Klopp, is going to step down this season, the players have resolved within themselves they are going to contend from all fronts and all titles, so as to also, send Jurgen Klopp in a very, very good, send him forth in a very good way. But then, looking at their shambolic display yesterday, I am starting to, think twice if actually Liverpool can be able to also win the EPL title this season. Because if they put up such kind of performance in the league, I tell you, they are going to certainly drop point. And clubs such as Arsenal and Manchester City, that is, closely, hunting for the league as well, might also leave the league ahead of Liverpool. So for me, I think it was a total, poor display from Liverpool point of view yesterday. They lack ideas. There was no creativity. So for me, I think it was a totally disappointing one for Liverpool. And just like you said, it's a heavy mountain for them to climb right now. Going away to, Italy, can they be able to overturn this 3-0 deficit against a very strong, Atlanta, who was firing, from all fronts that yesterday? You saw how resilient they were. They are attacking and defending. I think Atlanta, they have shown that indeed the sixth position that they find themselves in the Italian Serie A this season is not by fluke, because looking at what they did against Liverpool yesterday, I mean, they truly deserve to run home with all 3 points and 3 goals. And for me, I think it would take a special grace and some form of luck for Liverpool to be able to turn this tide around.
All right, let's see how it goes. Can Liverpool, of course, surmount this mountain? That's the big question as well. Now, Jonas Halfman and Victor Boniface scored after coming off the bench as Bayer Leverkusen beat West Ham 2-0 yesterday in the Europa League quarterfinal first leg. What do you make of the victory for Bayer Leverkusen, still being unbeaten? I think over 40-something games now, if I'm not mistaken, down there.
Massive victory for Bayern Leverkusen. And one will ask, what is the Midas touch with Xavi Alonso and his boys for this season. In all competition, they have not lost a single game. And one begin to wonder, what is giving them this impetus to be fighting from all fronts? As it stands right now, the La Liga, the Bundesliga title, because as it stands right now, they are 16 points ahead of Bayern Munich, and that gives them the advantage. Just one game they need to win now, they will be crowned champion. And also in the Europa, they are not doing bad at all. So I think for me, whatever Xavi Alonso is doing, I think is a right thing, and other coaches must also try to key in into what he's doing, because the way he has been able to tinker this team around, I think is something magnificent. Players such as Frimpong, players such as Xhaka, Victor Boniface, to mention Adlin, to mention but a few. These are players that you will say they are average players, but when they come up against some big teams, they've also proven that indeed they can be able to hold their own in a very high stage. Don't forget how they dismantled Bayern Munich. And for me, I think Xavi Alonso, there is something about him that other coaches need to learn from. As it stands right now, they are one leg, into the next round. So, play unbeaten in all competition this season. I'm waiting to see this miracle.
That's a big question. Actually, a very big question, as it is. And we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how they will possibly maybe go unbeaten throughout the season, as it is. But AC Milan, they lost to AS Roma 1-goal to nil, and Benfica beats Marseille by 2-1. And for the Conference League, Victoria Plzen, they played goalless against Fiorentina. Olympiacos, of course, beat Fenerbahce by 3-2. Aston Villa, of course, they beat Lille by 2-1. And of course, that was Unai Emery's 1,000th game as a manager. And Club Brugge, of course, beat Salonika by 1-0. But let's move on as to bring you the latest from the English Premier League this weekend, as we see some fixtures as well. Newcastle United will lock ons against Tottenham Hotspur, and Brentford, of course, will be in action against Sheffield United. Burnley against Brighton and Hove Albion. Manchester City will lock ons against Luton Town. Nottingham Forest against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Bournemouth against Manchester United, and we'll see Liverpool against Crystal Palace, and West Ham United against Fulham. Arsenal against Aston Villa. Michael, that is the game I'm really looking at. Arsenal against Aston Villa. Hope Aston Villa will points for Arsenal this weekend.
I think Aston Villa, they are also fighting to finish very strong on the log. Don't forget they have been, upstaged by Tottenham right now. Courtesy of goal difference, they are all on 60 points. And of course, that they are gunning for, at least to finish within the Champions League spot. So you don't want them to, you don't expect them to also, go into that battle as though they've already lost, because they have something at stake. They want to also topple Tottenham so that at least they can finish within the Champions League spot. Don't forget, this same Aston Villa have beaten Arsenal this season in the first leg. Arsenal actually fell to the firepower of this Aston Villa. That same week, this same Aston Villa defeated Manchester City. So for me, I think it promises to be a mouth-watering encounter. Can Arsenal be able to gun down this elephant that is standing before them? Because for me, I think, this Aston Villa looks to be a bone that will be hanging in the neck of Arsenal. But then, I still think that Arsenal has what it takes to also overcome them, courtesy of the fact that they'll be gunning for the title.
All right, Michael, there's a development, of course, in the Premier League. As we hear, the Premier League will introduce semi-automated offside technology next season in the hope of reducing the time it takes to make VAR decisions. What do you make of this new technology in the Premier League?
It's going to be a good one, not a new news, not a news for the world of football, because we've seen this being deployed in the Italian Serie A. We also saw that in the World Cup as well. So I think the English Premier League, they were waiting to also see how efficient and effective it is before they actually implement it. Of course, this season so far in the whole of Europe top 5 leagues, the Premier League seems to have been embroiled with officiating issues. And all of that. We saw how Mikel Arteta complained, when some time ago when he didn't actually favor the result didn't actually favor him courtesy of one wrong call or the other. We also saw that early in the season where Liverpool, because the EPL is one of the most exciting league in the world, and of course you don't.
We'll see Atletico Madrid against Girona. Oliver Cano will be dashing against Getafe. Real Mallorca against Real Madrid. And we'll see Cadiz against Barcelona. And Las Palmas against Sevilla. Granada will be dashing against Alaves. Atletico Bilbao will lock on against Villarreal. And we'll see Real Sociedad against Almeria. Michael, this week was really an impressive outing, especially for Barcelona and the Spanish La Liga. They got past PSG at Parc des Princes, 3-2, and now they'll be looking us against Cadiz, playing away from home this weekend.
Well, I expect Barcelona to get all 3 points so as to close the gap against Madrid, who is topping them by 8 points as it stands right now. And I believe with that victory away to Paris Saint-Germain over the weekend, over the midweek in the Champions League, that is even going to spur them up to also get all 3 points against Cadiz. But then in the La Liga, it is not always very easy. Though there are teams that you think possibly because they are little team in quote, some of these big teams is going to get all 3 points. But from what we've seen this season so far, I think these smaller teams, sometimes they play spoilers, especially at the tail end of the season. They want to play spoilers, but then boiled by the confidence of getting all 3 points against a certain PSG away, I think I'm giving Barcelona the nod to get all 3 points against Cadiz so as to closing the gap against Real Madrid.
All right, in the Italian Serie A, we'll see Lazio against Salernitana this weekend. And Leeds, of course, will be dashing against Empoli, Torino against Juventus, Bologna against Monza, and Napoli against Frosinone, Sassuolo against AC Milan, Udinese against AS Roma, Inter Milan against Cagliari. Napoli against Frosinone. Michael, Napoli playing at home. You see them getting a point. The last game, Victor Osimhen, I think, was able to prove a point, for them. You see him, of course, proving a point once again in this one.
Be struggling so because as it stands,
Bayern Munich will be knocking against Cologne, Bochum against Heidenheim, Borussia Mönchengladbach against Borussia Dortmund, Mainz against Hoffenheim, RB Leipzig against Wolfsburg, Stuttgart against Eintracht Frankfurt, Darmstadt against Freiburg, Bayer Leverkusen against Werder Bremen. Michael, this looked like another unbeaten run, of course, continuing for Bayer Leverkusen this weekend.
Sure, boy, by the fact that